Shit, somebody's like,
Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, the Power is Within podcast. And we got a full house tonight with a special guest of Sparty Fortune of Team Fortune. And here's Mr. Sparty. I'm so glad he could come. I've known Sparty for almost 2 years now. When I first started my YouTube channel about 2 years ago, I interviewed. He was good enough to come here, and I interviewed him. We had a good time then, and him and the boys went out afterwards and did a little partying. So we're going to interview Sparty tonight, and after we do that, we'll open up for some questions about dating and relationships and different things like that. And we will also introduce Paulina. How old are you, Paulina? 15.
you got Hennessy over here. 18.
Henry?
Clark's in here, I'm 20.
Brado, I'm 15.
Marley, 19.
22.
I'm Mark, and I'm 21.
Okay. All right, ready to go. And how many of these guys are belong to me? 1, 2, 3.
How many?
So I'm in the camera.
What?
Who's on the camera back there in the sound?
Put on the scoot up.
Frank, I'm 17.
All right.
You got
And we
Dominic
got
back there,
Dominic
too.
Dominic,
helping
18.
out with helping out with the sound. So here we go.
Sir.
Everybody ready?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right. Well, Sparty, I'm glad you could join us. Appreciate you coming all the way in from Boston.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And so what have you been doing for the last couple of years? Well, no, let's start out with this. How did you manage to get into the helping men and dating? And what is the quote on your website? Something about if you want a woman, I'm not going to teach you how to get a woman until you become a man or something like that. We'll try to keep it PG-13.
Right,
so.
right. Keep it PG-13, right? Back in the day, I went through a tough breakup. I was in high school. Thought, in high school, you think your relationship's everything. You think that's the core. That's all that matters in life. So I just remember I put all my heart and soul into that, and the girl broke me. She just broke me. I didn't know what I knew today.
Right.
But, we were dating, and she just cheated on me with this guy. And I just remember I was just heartbroken. I was going through a tough time. And for me, I just wanted to never feel that pain again. And I didn't want anyone else to feel the pain that I was going through again. So for me, my mission after that was learn the material, learn what's attractive, what's not, what's making guys fall short with women. And I wanted to be able to help other guys, at least overcome these, sometimes toxic women. Sometimes there are some great girls out there. I just want everyone to find the ones that are right for them.
Yeah.
And I think that experience, while at the time really sucked, I think it was a good lesson in disguise because you learn how to grow from it. You learn how to become a better man. And that's exactly what I started to do. I put in a lot of effort. I got my own dating coach. And he led me. And from there, I felt that I was able to take the things that I've learned over time at an early age and press it on to some of my friends, some of my college friends, my high school friends, and just everyone. And I wanted to eventually get to a bigger platform.
Right.
So that's why I went on YouTube, because I wanted to spread the message to not only a location in the Boston area, but I wanted to get worldwide. And, we started doing really well within the United States, but then we ended up getting into Europe, Australia, Asia, South America. So we've really grown and gotten to touch a lot of people, and daily, and it's really rewarding to me to hear that how many people I've helped their lives. You get people saying that they were thinking about committing suicide and everything.
That's common.
It's common, and girls can break you.
Well, they call that zeroed out, I think is the phrase they use now.
Yeah, zeroed out. Right, so, and that's the thing. That's what really got me into it, and that's what made me so passionate about what I do today. So
Right, and you not only help men with women, you help men to become better men. That's one of the important things. And I know the reason I met you is because I broke up with this girl, and I was searching on YouTube for some answers of why things went the way they did, and what I liked about you was you were really crude, but you were funny as hell. And I wasn't laughing too much at the time, so that's what I liked about your message. And you also tell people, I remember one video particularly where you tell people to believe you're a 10, because if you don't believe you're a 10, then nobody else is going to.
No one will believe you're a 10 if you don't believe it. And I always tell people that you got to learn to love yourself before someone else can love you. Because if you don't love yourself, then you can't ask a girl to have any appreciation for you, because she's going to think you're a sorry sack of crap, you know? So, you know, I think deep down, all of us are 10s. Every person here has their attributes, and that makes them sexy, that makes them masculine.
I think I'm a 12 Sparty. No. after practicing what you taught.
I'm sorry for selling you short.
You want to pass it back and forth?
Continue.
But yeah, no, yeah, I think everyone is a 12, as you would say. And you just got to find it in yourself, and you're gonna get broken down a couple times. You will, and I don't think you can really realize your value unless you get broken down. So there's a lot of people, they get hurt, and they learn to envy the girl that hurt them. I think it's a fucking blessing. Excuse my language, but I think if you don't get hurt, you're not going to reach your full potential. The most successful people in the world have all gotten broken down, or someone said no to them, or they couldn't do it.
Got crushed quite a few times. And now, back to the girl that dumped you, you did have the opportunity to get back together with her, didn't you? I think I read in your biography.
I did, and I chose not to. I just knew that you gave up on me. You didn't really talk it out with me. To hell with you. You know?
Yeah.
So I said I didn't want to get back with her. And I wish her the best. You're young, you make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they're young. But at that time, I grew so much without her.
Right.
And it's either you're a lesson. There's a phrase. It's either you're a reason or you're a lesson.
Yeah.
And that girl ended up being a lesson.
Yeah. So what do you tell men that come to you and they say, "Oh man, I broke up with my girlfriend"? Of course, 99% of them want her back. They just think they can just get her back, but she's not talking to them. Maybe she's blocked them, or what do you tell them?
I tell them that they got to learn to move on. And majority of the time, and I believe this happened with you, but when you start moving on and you start doing better things, that's when they actually want you back, right?
Yeah.
And they'll reach out, hey.
Yeah, hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
Gee,
birthday.
you didn't say anything to me on my birthday when we was together.
Now all of a sudden they're like, hey, how you doing? And that's kind of how it works, because they see you doing some better things with your life. But, sometimes the girl will break up with a guy, and there's different reasons for each and every breakup. But sometimes she's breaking up with you because you've stopped leading. And I think you posted about this earlier today.
Yeah, it happens quite. I mean, it's common for guys to start out good and we become complacent. And Pauline has experienced that quite a bit with boyfriends. They're really alpha when they start out, but then they get to where they start wanting to be with her all the time and they lean on her too much. And what do you find is one of the biggest problems men have with women today? What is it that they can improve on that would help them dramatically in their relationships or dating?
It's a good question. I think most men, they've learned and been engraved at an early age that they need to treat women the best that they can, no matter what circumstance. So she could say, hey, I need you to pick me up in the airport in Detroit from, we're in Missouri. She's
St. Louis, yeah.
I'm sorry,
about a 5-hour, 6-hour drive.
But she would expect you to be there, and if you don't go there, then you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think
if you loved me, you would be here waiting for me.
Exactly.
Right.
And you see all these Disney movies, and you see the villains, and then you see the heroes, as we call them.
And they fall in love happily ever after.
And that's just not how it works. And what happens is men start to lose respect for themselves, and that kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. If you're losing respect for yourself and you don't then if you don't have respect for yourself, you don't love yourself.
And how can anybody respect you if you don't respect and love yourself first?
Right. And the girl, she thinks that she wants the guy doing all these things.
Exactly.
Being weak and everything. That's what she's told she's wanted. But in reality, she doesn't want it. What girls think they want is different than what they actually want.
And then when they get what they think they want, they're like, well, I love you, but I'm just not in love. They don't even know. They don't even understand why they feel that way. So
they don't get it.
Really, a lot of this dating advice, some women I know and men think it's kind of crude and misogynistic, but it's really all about giving women what they want. It's not about being a dick to a woman. Yeah. It's not about men against women or it's nothing like that. I know there are people who misuse certain things for that, but in general, it's about giving women the kind of men that they're looking for. Because a lot of women now, you've probably heard this, where are all the real men at? Yeah. Like you said, they're asking men to do these things when in reality they don't want them. It's kind of like a test. I want you to. I ask you to do this, but if you do it, my respect just keeps dropping and dropping.
Right, and it's a great point. They just keep girls. They want the man. They
Right.
want the man. And again, like I said, at an early age, people have been taught to kind of just give up their soul for these girls, and
Right.
that's just not what they want. And you're right. They say, "Where are these men? Why can't I stay attracted to this guy? He's such a nice guy."
Yeah,
Nice guy. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem.
Well, that's the word of death.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
you're a nice guy. It's like, oh, I had a girl call me.
No, yeah.
I had a girl call me here a while back. It's like she was wanting something from me. You're a nice guy, and I'm like, I said no, just
No.
no. I said, do you think I'm a nice guy now?
No, but as a man, really, you don't want to be the nice guy that you think these women want. You know what I'm saying? You got to be you could be the asshole, and they'd rather want you than the nice guy. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Sparty.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with treating a girl with respect and
Right.
everything.
Yeah, right,
Not
right.
at all. But like if you're respecting her, that's fine. But once the nice guy comes out, when she says you're the nice guy, you're doing too much.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point, you're putting her above yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Putting her
that's-
on the
Put too much
pedestal.
effort. Too much effort, bro.
Everybody wants a challenge. I think as
Yeah,
men,
exactly.
I don't want a girl who just completely throws herself at me. It may be nice and make you give you a certain feeling of security initially, but it smothers
Yeah.
you in a very
Right.
short period of time.
Right.
It really does. And I'm the same way. If a girl comes on too strong, I mean, it might be cute and feel good at first, but like in the end, she's doing too much pursuing. There's got to be a healthy balance of
Right.
you're not pursuing me too much, but you're pursuing me a little bit, and I'm pursuing you a little bit, but I'm not like too much.
Yeah.
You know?
So what do you think here
As a
in the
man, you like a
U.S.?
challenge, but
Here in the U.S., what I've heard people talk about, and it seems to be prevalent to me, is we're kind of lacking on masculinity, and also masculinity seems to be getting, how do I say, belittled or put down, or like that's something wrong with being masculine. What's your view on that?
I've been feeling the same way for longer than you would guess. I think recently the media has really, really been really hard on people. And, there's this cancel culture thing going on. They cancel everything. You look at a girl, they'll cancel you. I mean,
yeah.
and I think I think a lot of guys are scared, and I
Right.
think they follow these media outlets which influence them.
Yeah, there's that Me Too thing.
Me
where,
Too thing.
And then this, I heard a girl say the other day, she says, let me see, if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. Okay, now when I grew up, I was with one girl that had the enthusiastic yes, and it's like, I was never with her again. The girls that I dated for years, and one of them I was married to, they said no a lot of times. Now, of course, I'm not talking about being physically forceful, but the good girls all make the guy wait. He may try to, pull off her shirt or something. No, I don't want to do that. And he may try again. So now I don't really know what boys are supposed to do. And then the girls also, because he's going to be afraid to try something, but then she doesn't want to seem like the four-letter word, like a slut. No girl wants to be considered a slut.
Yeah.
So I would think that you guys, if you were with a girl and she liked you and she jumped in the back seat, pulled her clothes and said, I want you, come do it. I mean, you kind of think, what is wrong with this girl? But then yet, that seems to be kind of a message that you're pushing out there today.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I mean, my motto has always been with girls that like want to hook up. If she says no, and it's like a hard no.
Right.
There's a difference between no, and no. And,
Right.
So
For sure.
if I just go with the mood personally.
Yeah.
If she's feeling it, good. If she's not,
Right.
I'll know. I'll use my awareness.
That's
No,
the
I
thing. If they're
agree.
genuinely not feeling it, they'll let you know, and you can pick up on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could tell. If they're genuinely not feeling it. Like you said, there was a difference between like no, and then there's a big difference between
there's
no.
Yeah, there's the no, and
And then you know that you're passing your limit, but then there's the no, I don't want to do nothing about this and that, and that's them kind of playing along. They don't want to seem like a whore.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Right.
But there's so many guys out there that, and I'm sure you've talked to a lot of them, they have social anxiety because they don't get out from behind their computer screen or their phone screen, and they don't know what it's like actually like to interact with the girl face to face. My advice to them is just to go out and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And so what do you tell guys like that?
Well, I agree, and I've been thinking about this for a little bit because I personally, I'm a millennial, and we got out a little bit, but I started to notice this phone age where people, back when you were younger, you had to pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, we had to
right?
dial it like this. When I was really young, I had to wait for that to get back around if you dial it.
Yeah.
You had to dial it, and you had to learn to converse with someone. Nowadays, what I've seen from a lot of younger kids is they're texting. They're asking me questions like, "How do I text this girl? How do I text her appropriately?" Bro, she's not going to get attracted to you from texting her. Right. You need to go out there and talk to her. And one of the issues where I'm from, right? They have these strict COVID restrictions, right? And that makes it really, really difficult for guys to meet girls. So they've been relying on these texting things. And when it comes down to it, when they lifted the restrictions a little bit, right? They didn't know what the hell to say. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to interact with a girl. So they would go up all nervous, say, "Hey." And she would give him a dirty look like, "Huh?" And then, she would reject him, and he would feel bad about himself,
Right.
and then he didn't want to approach another girl because he got rejected, and it was really painful for him.
Well, I know that texting is. I was married for 12 years, and then got divorced and raised the kids for about 9 years, and I didn't date. And I know I was rusty when I got back in the dating game, and all this social media was new to me. And I made all the mistakes people make. I sent long texts. I didn't know anything about it. And they'd send me, I'd answer right away. And once I broke up and got to looking back, I started studying this texting. And there's a whole psychology to that. And actually, you can't really build traction, but you can certainly destroy it with texting. So I've learned a lot from that. For me, my opinion on that is just to use that as a tool to set up a meeting as soon as possible. If she's attracted enough, she'll meet you. If not, because a lot of girls just like to have a number of guys contacting them or available or betas in waiting, as they're called it sometimes. So if you don't want to be a friend or beta in waiting or a Uber or what was it? Or a DoorDash.
No. Speaking of which, I seen this thing on Instagram. They call future misogynistic, and he said, "Don't be her solution, be her problem." You got all these dudes trying to be her solution, be her problem, be her problem.
Stand out.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's like the dude's standing out. If you're her problem, you're being the dude that stands out from the dudes that are trying to be her
They
solution.
say you can do anything you want to the girl except bore her. If you bore her, then the clock is ticking down to the end. So.
Right.
Actually, I had something to say. So I have this friend, and he's dating this girl. He's been dating her for a while, I guess. And at the beginning of the relationship, he was like, all right, like he wasn't really simping that hard, and then it just dropped to complete simp.
Is it who I think it is?
Yeah.
Don't mention
And
names.
I'm not
also,
gonna, that's why I said.
a few days ago, she actually was over here and asked me that.
The thing is,
Like,
okay.
if I get bored of him, could you make him into like you?
Oh, yeah.
But what the problem is with this person, he likes this girl so much that he's being a simp towards her in every circumstance, anything, what I'm saying? He does everything for her. And another thing, too, is like when she likes somebody else, when she likes somebody else, she says it in front of him, and he doesn't do anything about it. Now, I'm not saying you have to get pissed off. I'm not saying you have to get mad about it, but he just sits there and takes it. She could be like, "Oh, this guy's so hot. If I was in front of him, I'd kiss him." And he doesn't say anything.
But see, I take that as a crap test.
Yeah, exactly.
She
He
wants
needs
him to
to-
stand up and be a man. At least
She wants him. I mean, there's extents, but when she starts saying, "Oh, if he was in front of me, I would kiss him right now,"
Exactly.
I'd be like, "Honey, the door's right there."
Yeah. Goodbye. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let it hit you in the butt. As you
Yeah,
walk.
exactly. And that's the thing. That's the only problem with this person is he continuously gets, quote unquote, like you said, crap tested, and he lets himself get treated like a simp or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it keeps happening over and over again. And I don't know if this girl doesn't want to leave him because maybe he's more of a provider or something. I don't know. Like, what do you think?
Well, security, probably.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are there for security,
Yeah,
and
okay.
she's comfortable with
Yeah,
him.
exactly,
But
yeah.
you know what? She'll stick around until she has a setup waiting. Once she has someone else there, she will leave quicker than
straight up.
Yeah, they call that monkey branching.
Yeah, monkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know of females that have monkey branched. I'll say that.
That's
You
a
know,
common thing.
and
More
it's
common.
very easy for them to do it because they have so many. I mean, they can have so many options. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Sparty, what do you think for a man to improve himself? We have the phrase high value man. and the standards of women. They want this man that's makes 6 figures, 6 foot tall, and 6-pack abs. But then again, a lot of women, I think, and I'm just going to ask your opinion on what I'm talking about. A lot of women, I think, they a lot of times believe that if they're really pretty, that's all they need to offer. When in reality, if you look in the world, there are so many beautiful women that it's common. Now, a high value man, a guy 6 figures, 6-pack abs, and 6 foot tall, is more rare than. But what I'm saying is, a lot of guys think there's a scarcity of women, and there's not at all.
Not at all.
You know. So, but I believe there is a scarcity of valuable men. So what's your opinion on this? These standards these women say. I mean, they want the top 1%, which I don't blame them for wanting it. But.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I always feel that it's tougher for a woman to find a man they like versus a man finding a girl they like. And the reason is because you're right. There is a scarcity of the highest value of men.
Right.
I told you. I started off saying there's about 10% of men who are really high value. I've really come to believe that there's really like 4 or 3% of men who are really high value, maybe even 2. I think and if you think about it, a girl meets 100 guys, right? 2 or 3 of them are going to be really, really high value. The rest are going to simp over her. It's hard for her, you know? So a lot of girls out there, you know, they're really attractive. It's 2022 now, right? There are beautiful women everywhere. Any city you go to, anywhere you go, there's going to be a banging girl. Really good looking. Now, for you, knowing that you are one of these top 2% of men, and girls are waiting for your text message, waiting for a guy like you to hit them up, you can pick. You should be able to pick and choose what girl you want. So, yeah, okay, you're cute, you're hot. I think you're really attractive, but what else do you offer? You know, and you got to have that mindset. Otherwise, you're just going to take the first hot girl that slides into your DMs or you see at the bar or who gives you the time of day, and you're just going to date her. But, you know, what you'll realize is just because you're hot doesn't mean you got a cool personality. It doesn't mean we have the same values, the same interests.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you're even a high status female. You know?
I've asked that question before, and a lot of times they're offended by that.
Yeah.
I say, you're beautiful or you're pretty or whatever, but what else do you have to offer? I said, there's a lot of beautiful girls, and most of them, sometimes one will say, well, I'm sincere, I'm honest, or whatever. They come up with some things, but a lot of them are actually offended by that, and I can only guess it's because so many guys, if she's pretty, that suits them. Mm-hmm. But you find out, I'm sure you well know, if you live long enough and go out with enough beautiful girls, that it doesn't matter how beautiful she is. 3 to 6 months, if she doesn't have a personality, or quicker than that beauty doesn't last long. I've met girls like that, and it wore off quick. But I've also met girls that weren't so beautiful, and the more you get to know them, the more beautiful they become because of their personality. Of course, a man is physically attracted, but there has to be something there to keep him there also.
Right. There's got to be something meaningful behind the woman. Because if you're just a hot Instagram girl.
There's a lot of those out there.
There are a lot of hot.
I think you told me one time you try to stay away from those.
Well, and one of the main things too is it's like you got all these simps that go for the hot Instagram girl, and they give her all this validation, and that's one of the issues that guys have nowadays. It's like, let's say you try to hit up the girl that you think she's fine, she's got this Instagram, but she's got all this validation that you're like, oh shit, I'm not finna hurt up.
So like one of the things about what you were saying, whenever it comes down to the whole issue with people, so like women and men, when it comes to the game, we play 2 completely different, like versions of the game. So, like you said, a woman can go pretty much pick and choose whoever she wants to be with. I don't know.
All she has to do is say yes.
Just say yes. And then now, like us, like men, we have to woo our way in. We have to, try to work. We have to actually put in some work to try to, depending on what kind of woman it is or who it is. And like you said, some girls I've met 10s, I've met some 100s, they're fine. But as soon as they got to opening their mouth, it's just like I wanted nothing to do with them, So that's like a big problem. Like you said, it's like, what do you have to offer? Like, are you going to be able to take? And really, a lot of people, that'd be like a kind of really forward question to ask, like, are you going to be able to take care of a house? Are you going to be able to take care of the kids? But if you all ask, what do you have to offer, kind of like women do when they ask, what do you have to offer? It's like, oh, well, I'm good with finances. I have a house. I take care of responsibility, do what I have to do, So like you said, it's easier for us guys to like not necessarily show, but like let them know what we have that's of value besides ourselves, compared to how you said how women, whenever you bring up like
what you're talking about there though, and Sparty, what do you think about this? That seems to be more something that happens when you're communicating on a dating side or through Instagram than it is if you meet a person in person. I find that these questions are asked more through Messenger than if you met the person, for real.
Right.
Those questions don't arise till maybe later once you get to know each other. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting because the dating sites, and I've gone on the dating sites and everything. It's tougher to find. I've met some crazy girls that like you don't want to like talk to after. I've been catfished. I've gotten it all, right? So I think for me, what I try to do is I try to set myself up with a group of girls that I try to friend zone girls. Girls that I think are really attractive but are really cool. Because attractive girls bring around attractive friends.
Right.
And if I know she's cool, I know her friends are going to be cool. So she's going to bring some cool girls around for me to, hit on, see if there's potential that we could mingle, right? And that's how I've had the coolest girls come into my life is just through friends of friends.
Right.
And those, she might bring some friends in, and you might hit it off, but she might bring some more friends in too. So right there's the cycles of girls that are coming in because you just got a couple. You're able to friend zone two cool, attractive women. So that's where I've found the greatest success with meeting girls that are high, that values match my values. Because you can meet a great looking girl on a dating app. I mean, there are beautiful. I'm telling you, beautiful girls on dating apps. That being said, they could just. Why aren't you complimenting me on my dress? Honey, I don't like the color yellow.
yeah,
Something like that.
Well, I was gonna say one of the things too is just like with Mark, me and Mark hanging out all the time. We get a lot of attractive females around us, but especially Mark, he friend zones some of the better looking females. And
Man.
he does, and he brings so many females around that a lot of people, I would say, some of his friends can't pick up on these girls, and I'd like to have him speak on it a little bit more.
So like really, like you said, that's probably the best thing that I've done, and it was just done out of second nature. One, I like friends. I like having friends. And then why not have good looking friends? You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, if I am hanging out with some fine ass women, they're bound to bring some finer friends with them. Because who knows? Most of the time, in my experience, I've even realized that sometimes the girl I'm hanging out with ain't even the hottest out of the group. So like you said, it's hard for most guys to try to put a woman in a friend zone situation because they don't go out, they don't go talk to people, they don't have friends, they don't make connections, they don't make ties, nothing. So they don't have these people bringing these certain kind of women around, or even
and they can't they can't even lock it down like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or
they can't mess with these females like.
So what would you, I guess, suggest to someone who's trying to start that? What would you suggest to someone who's trying to start?
Who's trying to be friends? You know what I'm saying, with females that are finer, so they could have an opportunity to fuck with their homegirls or whatever. Excuse my language.
Yeah. So I actually recently had to start doing this, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but I moved from Boston to San Diego, and I knew nobody really. I knew a couple people, but not like I didn't have any friends that were girls over there, right? So what you got to do is you got to start over. And one of the first things that I wanted to do was associate myself with a group of girls somehow, because I knew it was going to be beneficial for me. So I just honestly started going to just events that were going on of my interests. So for me, one of the things that I like doing is I like to party. I just like doing it. It's just fun. Okay? Right. So one of the things that I ended up doing was I would just go to the same bar over and over and over again, and I would see the same familiar faces there. So the bartenders there, they seem to recognize me because I've gone there about, I go get a drink after I finish up a day of work or something, pop in. Eventually I start to become a regular face. Well, there's also regular faces at that bar or that restaurant, right, that would come in, and I now have created a connection with the bartender who introduces me to this girl, right? This girl ends up she goes to the bar very frequently. So we're now friends, and she starts inviting me out to some of her, like, maybe pregame parties or maybe some trivia nights or whatever it may be, right? And what do you know? This one girl has 5 different friends. All of a sudden, I'm now I bring my best personality in front of these 5 different girls. They're like, oh, this guy's actually a cool. Like, where'd you find him?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they start to
for
ask
sure.
questions. So really what it comes down to is putting yourself out there. And, you know, a lot of guys, and humans naturally, they're comfortable. If you're sitting down on the couch and someone tells you to get up, you don't really want to get up because you're super comfortable. Well, it's the same thing when you're trying to meet new people. You're comfortable talking to your associated group, right? Sometimes it's tough to get outside your family or your immediate friends. But sometimes, you know, if you just go out there, you're gonna actually meet some really, really cool people, and you're not even gonna believe what they're gonna be able to offer you.
Yeah, and speaking of which, like you were saying, my brother Mark, I know he's told me ever since he's moved into the city, he talks to a lot of girls, and one of his homeboys told him, "You bring him in by the double or something like that, or
You bring him in by the pair.
by the pair. That's what he said."
There you go.
And one of the things is when he said that is he brings in females 2 at a time. You know what I'm saying? And
shoes.
sometimes, yeah, like shoes. So he brings in them 2 at a time, and a lot of the time he's not really fucking with the females like that. You know, he's just talking to them, having a good time. And then one of the homeboys can come in and, you know, flirt or whatever. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's him, you know, whatever happens to be. And I want you to tell people how you bring them in by the pair.
Okay, so like pretty much exactly like you said, you know, you got to make you start going to the same place all the time. Not necessarily the same exact place, but just, you know, like an area, you know. So for example, Club Europe is one of the places I was going to. Now I'm like a regular, and I'm friends with all the security there and everything. So, you know, and then the bartenders know me. They're cool, like exactly like you said. So one of the things that I like to try to do is I try to bring in females or friends by the pair or even more. So what I do is just leave them open for the night, so that any of my friends can go and do what they want. But a big problem that I notice is actually going to getting my friends to actually doing something, getting them to actually talk to them other than just saying, hey, this is my name, this is where I stay, this is what I do, you know, whatever. So the big issue that I guess it's almost easy, you know, I'm pretty much handing these girls over to some of my friends.
I don't mean
and
to cut
stuff.
you off too.
Go ahead.
It's like you've told me before, you have issues with handing these females over to your homeboys. They don't know what to say, they don't know what to do.
And
They
that's
don't- yeah, go ahead.
and that's another thing too. Like you know, with my friends, I really like to teach my friends everything that you teach me, that anything that I pick up on, you know. But one of the big things, like I said, is just a lot of the main issue for guys I see is just like, what do
Yeah.
I say?
They don't know what to do,
I
yeah.
do? What do I say? I can go up, introduce myself. What do I say afterwards? You know, a lot of people don't know how to get past that. My name is stage. So how would you?
So speaking
better?
of which, what would you do? What kind of suggestion would you give to a guy after he comes up to her, a female or anything, and they're like, "Hey, my name is this and that." What would you say to do next?
So eventually you get so advanced where it doesn't really matter what
Yeah,
the hell you
right.
say, right?
It's who you are.
Right? You could say whatever the hell you want, except something like, I like to sleep with sheep. That's probably not going to go over well for you.
But not the shaved one, it's just the long one.
Oh, you're blonde? No, I like sheep.
I like sheep better.
Yeah.
Well, or for example, what would you say? I mean, you said it's it comes natural
when it
eventually.
comes to talking, because I've always been a social person, at least as far as I can remember. I know the kids used to hate to go to Walmart anywhere, wouldn't they? Because I ended up stopping and talking to not just girls, anybody for a long time. But a girl, if she's got interest in you, if she doesn't, what's the point in talking? But if you say hi, you start, how you doing? All you got to do is ask one leading question, not an interrogatory question. She will give you clues. If you go up there listening to what she's saying instead of thinking, I hope she likes me, bad way to start.
And
And you can just lead off like, if she says, I'm from Florida. Oh,
Yeah,
are you,
that's-
you live by the beach? And say, yeah. Oh, do you like the beach? I love the beach. I went to the beach last year. Just whatever. I play volleyball, whatever she says. You just, you play. How long you played volleyball? Et cetera,
Another thing you've taught me too, though, is if you don't know how to talk to girls, go ahead and just start talking to anybody. have a conversation
Right.
with somebody that maybe you don't like, or maybe somebody that's not, you're not attracted to, or maybe a buddy,
somebody at the
you know,
grocery
somebody
store or
anywhere.
something, you
Yeah,
know?
start off like
Start.
that, and then start building your way up to talking to females.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. Go ahead.
Okay, let me. I want to ask you one more question, and we'll open it up for questions here. So, what are you doing now? You moved out to not LA, California, San Diego. What's going on with you now, Sparty?
Yeah, so right now, it's funny, we're working on a new TV show where we're working with guys who are struggling in their relationships and just kind of like the psychology behind it and just their breakups and everything. And we're going to, it's in the making right now. And I've teamed up with a doctor out there in the LA region. And we're talking about potentially bringing we want this show where we're recording guys who are going through breakups and just kind of coaching them through it and seeing what will happen, kind of showing the advancement of where they are, like how sad they are at the time
Right.
to where they become in probably like a year's time maybe.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on.
So, how did this get led into this? I always tell people you need to set off in a direction, and if you don't get to where you want to go, it'll be something better. And now, I know you probably didn't have any idea you'd be doing this maybe a couple of years ago. Was this something you were thinking about, or you just kind of by starting helping people on YouTube, you just kind of it's something that came to you, or how was?
Yeah. So it came to me because the girl DM'd me and.
Because you were taking action, doing something.
Right, I was taking action doing something. She came across my channel. She's like, hey, we do very similar things. She does it for the females, right? That's her core audience. And I personally, I help some females out too. It's just majority of the people who come to me are men.
Right.
And that's kind of why I gear my audience towards them. But she was doing it, and she's like, I agree with a lot of your, of what you say. I think that we would work together, and we met up, and she's like, she's had some pull she's kind of had some pull in the LA region with just her background and how she's been relevant for a while. And so she said, I agree with what you say. I think you're real. I think you're down to earth. I think people really connect with you. And I think that the younger audience seems to connect with you too. And I think that we could make a good team. And I think we would love to. She just wanted to work with me, and she just had some pull, and I was like, you know what, might as well try this out. Why not? And it ended up, so we've been teaming up. We've been doing really well with each other, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited about it too.
Yeah.
See what it pans out to be.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that. We're gonna open it up now for any of you guys. Got any questions? For
I got
Sparty?
a question for
Go
Sparty.
for it, Brandon.
So, what would you say for younger kids that don't know how to usually get out and noticed by women? What is your advice? And Mr. Daniels, I would like your advice too. What would you say they could do to get out for females' attention more?
Okay, so this is tough because I wouldn't go out. I would stop going out with a mindset to get females. I would start going out for the mindset of, I want to have a fucking rockin' time with my friends, and the girls are going to see this, and then they're going to enjoy me more. Because you'll notice if you go out with the mindset of, oh, I want to get with a girl, it doesn't happen.
Never
Because
works.
because you get thirsty and you approach her and you're like, how am I gonna dangle this and back to my place? And then she's like, ugh, what are you doing? So then you're kind of coming off needy. So my first thing would be just rather than going out to get laid, go out, get a group of friends who want to go out and have a good time. If that's on the table, if she wants, you can get lucky, sure, that would be nice, but don't make it all about that.
Right.
So, and trust me, I've had and it's hard not to, because there's still some nights where I'm like, you know what, I really would like to get something, but it never works out for those nights, So that would be my first thing. Get a group of guys that you trust, that you love going out with, that know how to have a good time, but also at the same time learn what to say. Maybe have a couple back pocket things in. A couple lines that you might want to say just to get the girls talking or whatever. And if that's what you guys like to do, is, I want to go hit on chicks, great. But if you don't and you fail, don't say it as like a unsuccessful night. Just say, I failed with that girl, whatever. It's funny to me.
And then I have one more question. So, what do you think men or younger people like me could post on social media to get that not really necessarily attention, but get some attention from them.
Yeah. So I think I'm not a huge social media guy, but that being said, social media is a great tool to build up your own personal status. Social media presence, if you have a good social media game, you post pretty good material, you look good in your photos, you get likes or comments on your photos. Girls see that because when you tell a girl your name and you give her the Instagram, she's going to go through, see your pictures, see if you're slouched over like this and sad, or if you're bright, you're opening your arms up and you got a friend here with your hand on his back and everything. And she's going to check out your page to see your personality because your social media is a reflection of yourself. And, we want to present ourselves to the world as our best selves. So for me, one of the things that I would recommend for anyone on social media is post good-looking photos of yourself. Try to post some photos or post on your stories with girls, talking with girls, or at least girls in the vicinity. Just with your friends, all the activities you're doing. If you're going on a hike or something, post the hike. If you're going snowboarding, post the snowboarding. If you're at the bar with the friends, post the bar, and just show it off. Show off your lifestyle. It's a great opportunity for girls to slide into your DMs because they'll comment on your stories. They will, trust me.
Yeah.
You can get numbers from that.
Yeah.
One of the main things too is like people like
Your
to
mic's
see other
off.
people doing stuff.
Your mic's off.
Oh, is it? Okay. One of the things, like I said, is people or females especially, like seeing you doing stuff. You don't want to be a lame dude who's going to be at the crib. Oh, hit me up. I'm bored. I have nothing else to do. Nobody's going to hit you up.
And on
You
top of
gotta
that,
have a life somebody wants
You got to have a
be
lifestyle.
part
You know
of.
what I'm saying? And that's the thing with Mark. I've noticed with him, he posts on his story almost all
Every
the
day,
time
at
because
least.
he's always doing something. He's always having fun. He's always having some sort of excitement, and that's what makes females attracted to him. So go ahead.
And I've had to actually, with that, you have to be very, very careful with that because then you can end up accidentally putting on a front,
Exactly.
and making it seem like you're this person because it's easy to
Yeah,
do
you
that.
got to be the person you portray.
Yeah.
or
It's
you're gonna-
really easy to do that because who's gonna stop you from posting what
Exactly.
you want to post?
Exactly.
Nobody. So it's a good tool if you know how to utilize it correctly. If not, you can end up getting lost in it and then end up having that turn on you completely. Like I said, you gotta be as genuine as you're gonna be to everybody you meet as you are on social media. It's real. People can see real. People can feel it.
And that's the thing too. Is like Mark's taught me how to be real on social media. We both taught each other a lot of stuff. But on social media, it's easy to be fake. Like he was saying, it's easy to be put on a front that's not real.
You can post yourself standing next to a
Oh,
Lamborghini.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
say-
I mean, shit like-
you don't even have to say it's yours, but it just
Yeah,
looks
like
like
when,
it.
when we went to Cali that time and we met Jen Smith, I could sit here in front and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool with all them and all
Yeah,
this,
right.
all this bullshit." You know what I'm saying? But really, it's just about putting on something on social media that's good and
Genuine.
genuine.
It's
Yeah,
being
exactly.
People always, well, it's like when my friend John came here with the Tesla and we had our pictures taken in front of it, all of us. We didn't do it so people would think that, but how many people you think saw that?
Yeah.
And thought, oh, he's got a Tesla.
Exactly, and that's the
It's-
thing.
or
It's so easy. It's so easy to do. You
and
can-
not even necessarily like
Not even try to do it on purpose. but-
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
And-
so easy to slip into that,
and not necessarily that they have one, but they know somebody who's that close. They have people who have these luxuries and all this cool stuff. I posted a while back. I posted a video of just like what I had done within the past like 3 or 4 months. And since posting that, a lot of people have gotten a hold of me like, hey, what are you doing tonight? People who I haven't talked to in quite some time, or just like new friends asking me, what are you doing? What's the word tonight? I've met a whole bunch of, since moving out to the city, I've met a bunch of
Well, speaking
different
of which, I
people.
don't mean to cut you off, but I know you've had a lot of opportunities to stunt. You know what I'm saying? I know you've been around people that have had really nice cars, had a lot of money. You've had chances to stunt on some shit, but you haven't. You know what
Well,
I'm
the
saying?
reason is, like I said, I want that. My main goal on social media is being real. Like, if people could see, I could be poor, and as long as I'm real, people will rather go see
Yeah.
that than someone who's faking having a Lambos and all sorts of stuff like
Let's,
that.
Marley down there.
Yeah, I got a question.
yeah.
It kind of circles back to what Brado said. It was
Marley's a rapper. He performs over at Pops in
Yeah.
Illinois, right? Mark's a stage man sometimes.
very
and-
good, very good.
Yeah, he's
Good
got,
voice,
he
yeah.
really has got
Right
some
on.
good. I listened to some of his stuff the other day. It's really excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm not a rap guy, but I really like
Yeah,
your stuff.
Marley's got some good shit.
Show coming
Appreciate
up
that.
at Pops. or
March
I know,
17th.
Nightclub
You
Europe, March 17th.
What's his Instagram? Shout that shit out right now.
Your Instagram.
Marley Williams, Marlee, Williams with 2 S's.
Okay.
Check it out.
Okay, so this statement is kind of what you said. I feel like our generation feels the need to or let social media kind of control.
Yeah.
We were talking about this last night. It kind of lets them control the way,
it
and it
was,
puts
yeah.
a certain like mindset
Yeah.
that they need to do this at 18, or they need to, and that's like something that I think is a real problem.
I mean, it is. That's the thing. It's like people let social media control the way their life is. You know, they front, they say this shit that is not true. They put on this.
If you're doing all that, you're wasting more time.
Yeah.
Okay,
worrying
so
about,
what's your question is your kind
How
of
could you get past that? I guess.
what is it? Yeah, what is
It
your
wasn't
question?
really a question. It was just
It was
kind
just
of a statement. I
statements.
wanted you guys to
Statement,
kind of give
more
me
of
your
your
thoughts on it.
it?
it's a good
What are your
point.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, because I remember I was probably how old are you?
I'm 19.
You're 19. I remember I was like around your age, and I remember I think I saw like Ty Lopez or something driving around with a Lamborghini, right? And I'm like, wow, Ty Lopez. I'm like, damn, I'm really pathetic right now.
Yeah.
I'm like this guy because I remember I saw the ad or something. And he had like I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was like here in my garage with my new Lamborghini.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. It's like with that, I know Paulina, even with her young age, she's got people that are stunting on stuff that is not true.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yes.
She's just nervous. She's just nervous. She's nervous. But I know, I've seen kids younger than me that are stunting, sitting on Instagram, social media, anything like that. They're stunting and they're acting like they have all this, but they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Like you said, back to it. Go
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll tell you this: if they're they're posting it on social media, that means they're insecure. Okay,
Right.
they're insecure where they need validation from people. They
Right.
think that likes are going to make them feel better. And I'll tell you this: if someone's really stunting like that, majority of the time, and I'm saying like probably like 909, I can't even say the number, but like
Yeah.
basically 999 times out of 1,000, they don't got shit. They're fucking stunting, excuse my language, but they're stunting and they're trying to impress like a girl or a female and try to get people to slide in the DMs, but in reality, they're just a cocky, insecure motherfucker. And
Well, and that's the thing, yeah. Like, I don't mean to cut you off. But one of the things, too, is like, if you got it like that, you don't got to stun it. You ain't got to stun it like that.
That's exactly
You
what
know,
I was
you
trying to say.
kind of show off a little something. Maybe you show that you're out on a trip on a Caribbean or something like that. My dad, he's been on multiple trips. He doesn't stunt. He doesn't flex it on people.
No.
He doesn't have to because he's got it like that. And if you got it like that, you don't have to flex it on people.
You don't even think twice because you go on a nice trip to the Caribbean or something, and you're just like, all right, this is cool.
Exactly.
You don't like have to show it off to social media because you're just living your life and you're very present. You don't need to. Here we go. That being said, at the same time, you can still take a picture here and there to help your social media out. You don't have to do it every day.
Right.
But if you do something nice and you treat yourself well, sure, take a photo of you at the beach or something with a friend or your son or whoever you're with, right?
Yeah.
Post it and just as more of a memory. You don't need to show just bought this new $100 million
Yeah,
car.
And that's the thing too. Like nowadays with social media, which a lot of females do because they have these guys that have a lot of money. They like to flex shit that isn't theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They like to go on trips and they're like, oh, I went on the trip
and
to.
you never
or-
see
go
the
ahead.
guy behind. I mean, they're out
Yeah,
there
you
showing.
don't, yeah.
They're in Dubai, they're in the Caribbean, they're wherever, but you never see the guy.
You never
It's
see
like,
the guy.
They
And
did
that's
it
the
all
thing.
by themselves.
It's the dude. Yeah, they flex and they act like they went to this place
screen.
with nothing.
But we all know that there's a man.
Yeah, there's a dude behind the shit. You know what I'm saying?
He's the
Like,
guy taking the pictures.
Yeah, he is, and that's the thing. Like,
He's the cameraman.
like speaking back to like one of the topics is you got these simp ass dudes paying for these trips for these females, and
With nothing
Where
in
they at?
return.
Where they at?
And
You know
then
what I'm
on
saying?
top of that, with nothing in return. I mean, what do you, like you said, going back to the whole thing, what do you have to offer? All right, these women are offering nothing, and these guys are giving them stuff that you would offer to someone who's got
Sex.
everything to offer in the world, you know?
Yeah.
So-
and the thing is, it's funny because a lot of guys with money, like a lot of money. I've coached a lot of guys with
for sure.
big time money. What they'll do is they'll bring these girls on trips. They'll try to buy their affection, right? They'll try to buy the affection because they think, oh, I have money. Like girls think that money is attractive.
Yeah.
But they don't. It's the guy behind it. Now, if you have game and you have a little bit of money, that's good because money will give you access to girls. You know, if you got some money, you can go to the clubs more
Yep.
often. You can get the table at the clubs and everything. That's cool. But that doesn't mean, just because you can sit there at the clubs with all the beautiful women, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to like you.
For sure, for sure.
They'll
it's
like
kinda-
what you can provide to them.
Well, it's kind of like what Mario said about the social media thing. Social media influences people to stunt, not really necessarily to stunt, but to put themselves out there, and they take it so far
Yeah,
to where
yeah.
they go out to stunt,
Well, and
then
yeah.
and then whenever they hang out with the women, they don't have any.
they don't
of
have
that,
the
and
actual
it's just
char-
that stunning went to nothing.
The actual character is not there. That's one of the things. You could pretend to be this whole person and everything, but if it's not there, it's not there. So whenever I'll tell my friends and show people like these girls that I talk to and, mess with and all this stuff. And, depending on who it is, it was, like I said, if I didn't have the character that I have now, or anything, they can tell, like he said before, they can tell when you're lying, they can tell when
Women
you're
are very
insecure.
intuitive.
Yeah, and so you could sit there and be like, oh yeah, last week I just and this is a given, anybody could tell this, but last week I made $10,000, it's pretty easy, and for the most part, someone will say something like that. Most of the time, it's not like
It's
that
light
at all.
work.
Well,
It's
speaking
not
yeah,
like that at all.
and then speaking of which, I mean, people be stunned. They be talking about all this cap and all this shit. And I mean, shit. I want to hear it from Paulina myself. I know she's got somebody that's been sending her money. You know what I'm saying?
There's a good one right
yeah,
there.
here you go. Let's get into this topic.
Let's ask about. Tell us
Yeah.
about that little deal there, Paulina.
There was this random person who added me on Snapchat, and I guess they had made a joke about me sending them feet pics. They found out what my
No, get into that.
yeah there's like a whole foot fetish thing, and
But you've never sent any.
no, I haven't, and I don't even involve my feet in any pictures I would post on my story unless I have shoes on, because I just think it's weird. But he added me and he was like, feet pics, and I told him no, and he found out what my Cash App was, which it doesn't have my name in it or anything. It's like a completely different name. And he found out what it was, and he sent me, I think it was $200 or $150 for no reason. And then I think a couple days after that, he sent me $150.
And it's like you're no.
man.
And
No way.
and
You don't know
wasn't-
who he is.
No,
and
I
you couldn't
don't
even
know.
send it back.
I don't know who he
That's
is.
money,
Every
son.
single time he would send it to me, he'd block me. And recently he sent me $200 again for no reason. And I can't send it back. I can't give it to him. He
say
keeps me.
take it if
He
he's-
keeps me unadded. Like, and then when he wants to send me money, he'll just send it and then block me. He doesn't say anything. He just sends it.
Right.
But yeah, like for example, he's sending pictures or he's sending money for nothing, and he's a simp. Obviously, he's a simp. He's sending.
Man, I'm fed up.
He's sending
with this.
money for
$200
nothing.
right
Like
there.
he's sending money
Done.
for pictures of not even her feet. She's not even sending feet pics. But this dude is a simp. He's obviously sending money for no reason. And what
Well-
would you do? What would you say to a dude who's sending money for, I guess, nothing or whatever?
Well, someone's seeking approval.
Yeah, seeking approval. What would you suggest to this man's?
Yeah, I think he's just happy that a female's talking to him.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, and he needs a lot of help. He does. So
Yeah, he would probably love to be with a woman if he hasn't been, and it's just, he's at least getting. He thinks he's getting some kind of.
Yeah, well,
attention.
and I don't mean to like cut the subject off, but I had some dude hit me up the other night, and he goes, "Hey," he hit me up and was like, "Send me some pictures of some girls that you've talked to," and I'm like, "What do you mean? Are you down bad or something, man?" I don't know who the dude is. It's a fake account, and he hits me up, and I'm like, "Are you down bad?" He's like, "Low key, I am," and I'm like, "Well, I apologize, but I'm not gonna send you some pictures of some females. I don't even know you." You know what I'm saying? This guy is so down bad. He's texting me to get some pictures of some females, and I don't even know who the guy is.
A lot of people nowadays, they just lack the proper, not necessarily a father figure, but just a proper masculine figure in their life to really know how to, learn how to approach women, learn how to approach people in general. That is like one of the main things that, like you said, if you want to start doing anything at all, start talking to just everybody, like when you're talking to people in the grocery store or something, just start off by that. I'm very fortunate to have someone like my dad who teaches me the stuff that I do, and then knows people like you who helped me get through things that I went through like 2 years ago. And now I've like overcame, pretty much all of that just with like what seemed to be a lot of effort at the time, but just a little bit. Most, like I said, most guys don't have that proper role model to tell them like, hey, this is how you do this is how you do that, So what would you suggest to someone who just doesn't have a dad, a big brother, or somebody who proper guidance, no proper male guidance?
Right. So yeah, because for me, I was the oldest of my family, and my father was doing a lot of traveling. So it was really, when I was at a young age, it was really my mom who was like telling me everything. And my mom's great, love my mom, but what do I say about women? What they think they want isn't what they actually want. Yeah. So I was like kind of in a similar situation, and really the thing is what I did, right? I found someone who really succeeded with women. Seemed like they succeeded, or it seemed like all the girls were like thirsting over them, or they got a new girl, like going home with a new girl each week or something. And I was just like, what do you know? Like, you become friends with them, right? So really, what you want to try to do is find like-minded people who know what the hell they're talking about, and you hang out with them. Because if you all have the same mindset, then we're spreading masculinity, and not only are we happier as men, but the women are happier too, because their men are providing for them.
Actual men.
They're being actually men. They're taking responsibility. They're not simping. They're not getting disinterested with them after 2-3 months. The guys stop becoming complacent. They keep working towards their goals. And I always say, right, if once you become complacent, you retire as a man.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And when you retire, you expire.
Yeah.
And if you expire, then it's over for you.
Yeah.
Get old fast, and it's just going to end for you. So I think that if you hang out with people who are you guys have it great, because your father, he knows what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you have like-minded people just within your family, that's incredible. It is awesome. It really is, because just what you guys are able to accomplish, and having like-minded people working together, so much can be.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, my dad has told me plenty of times in the past, and I've heard this quote multiple times: "You're hanging around with 5 millionaires, you're gonna be the sixth." You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. And when you take that and you, like what you just said, you hang around with people that are doing something with themselves. When it comes to females, you're gonna do the same thing.
So pretty much. Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't know.
So along with that, like you were saying, what would you say to the men out in this world that have it confused on what it is to be, not necessarily, because what is a proper man? Like what actually is a proper. I personally don't know that, and I feel like you, as a man, you slowly learned what that is for you. What would you say to the people wondering what a proper man is? Because we keep saying a high status man, and we keep saying a proper man. What actually is that, in your opinion?
Someone who takes goddamn responsibility. That's what it is. He sees a problem, I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
I'm something's not working out. They don't blame other people. It's they view it, and this is what leadership comes from. Is they're gonna take responsibility for everything, even if it's not their fault, right? Oh, I struck out with that girl. She doesn't like me. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. It's my own fault. I did something wrong here. I did something that was not attractive to her, right? And once you can take responsibility, that's when you're gonna grow as a man. And I'm sure you know this too, because I've seen you do it numerous times where you take responsibility for everything, right?
Yeah.
But you take responsibility, and that's when a girl can trust you, because she sees you being selfless, right? Because a selfish person blaming someone for everything, right? Oh, I didn't make enough money this week, right? It's my boss's fault. He doesn't pay me enough.
Yeah.
No. Be in control of your life. You as men, we have the opportunity to make as much money as we would like.
Yeah.
Right? Or we have the opportunity to go any direction that we want to, right? So let's just say you're rapping, right? And let's just say you just drop rapping, or you stop rapping for a couple months or something. Whose fault is that? It's not Henry's fault. It's not your father's fault. It's your own fault.
For sure,
because you kind of got a little lazy. And I'm not saying but I'm just saying hypothetically, right? So if I all of a sudden stop making money and I can't live, and I gotta like move back in with like my parents or something like that, that's my own fault, right? And I'm old enough to provide for myself. I've got a high school degree. I got a college degree. I can do whatever, But if my business fails, and I think girls, they're more attracted to someone who's an action taker.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. You got to be an action taker, and you got to work hard. And if you're working hard for what you want, girls just see that. They just see ambition, and it's character traits that they see, right? And that's what's being a man. Ambitious, hardworking, blue-collared in a sense, right? And
Selfless.
you work for what you want.
Yeah, for
and you're
sure.
going to make it happen. And if it doesn't, it's, I tried my hardest.
All right, I got a question. Now, because of COVID nowadays, a lot of people are in their comfort zone. They're scared to talk to women or talk to anybody in general. How would you? What would be the first step you think they would take? Like for you, what would be the first step to get out of your comfort zone or become a high status man?
Yeah, that's tough because I remember back when COVID really was like worrisome. At least where I was from. Again, every area is a little different.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Pretty lax here
yeah.
compared to those parts of the country.
Oh yeah, you go to New York City or something.
yeah.
It's brutal, right? So you would go talk to a girl, right? She would run away. Like, oh my God, you don't have a mask on?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was tough. But I would say for someone trying to get out of their comfort zone, especially with COVID, and if it really does mentally mess up a lot of people.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, they don't know how to talk to people.
I know.
It's tough. I would say baby steps. You can't. How do you eat an elephant? You got to do it one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Right. So, so you got to. I don't know what. Like everyone's in a different position, but let's just say this person's been stuck inside playing video games and really hasn't socialized and just playing like Madden or Call of Duty or whatever, and they're not talking to anyone. I guess the first step of that I would take was at least try to talk to a friend and meet them in person. And if their friend doesn't want to meet them because they're scared of COVID or something, well, I would honestly, I'd probably all right, well, I'd drop them.
Yeah, well, for
Personally.
sure.
I know
yeah.
that's kind of controversial, but like if I'm not going to go see you and you're that scared of COVID now, I think we've learned a little bit that sure, take it seriously. Yeah, everyone has their own opinion on it, but I think that we have enough resources to be able to survive from I guess some whatever. I'm not going to get into that debate right now, but the big thing is taking little baby steps forward, meeting up with someone, hanging out with someone, and then from there maybe take the next step, maybe go to a restaurant or maybe go to an event where other people are going to be, right? It's a lot easier to do something if you got someone by your side. So if you start working out for the first time, right? You might not want to go alone. Because you're like, I'm scared people might judge me. I don't really know what I'm doing. And, and then you stop going. But if you got someone by your side who's just like wants to work out and you guys share a common goal, like let's get jacked. Well, if you don't want to go to the gym that day, right, you're letting your partner down.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, oh, God damn it, you're coming to the gym with me.
Yeah.
You're coming with me. So then you guys got a team of people and you work together to... we're going to get ripped. We're going to get in good shape, not to impress the girls, but to look good for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just kind of taking baby steps and finding, like I said, it's so true, finding like-minded people. It really is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when it comes to being a simp, where do you draw the line there? And do you hold the same standard for every woman, or do you adapt based on their personality?
So I guess I'm kind of confused by the question. So where do you draw the line of not being what's respect? When do you stop treating a girl? It's like respecting, almost like where do you stop the respect level? Almost?
No, when it comes to affection, say you buy her flowers or something,
Right.
Where do you draw the line there? And
Where does
does
it
that-
become too you're a simp?
Overbearing, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't think it's bad to buy a girl flowers on her birthday or something, or if she did something for you that meant a lot. Like let's just say you were really sick in the hospital and she iced your knee or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You want to give her a thank you? Sure, give her flowers or take her out for a nice dinner, right? But the issue is, it's like, for example, this happened to one of my buddies the other day, right? So he had plans all week to go to a party, right? With his friends. They're flying into town. He lives in New York. They're flying into town. They wanted to go see him. and hang out. They had this big night like set up at the club or whatever. And then right before he was going to go out, his girlfriend said, I want you to stay in with me and watch a movie. Well, he ended up staying in and watching the movie. And he dropped his friends and dropped his plans that he had scheduled for a month to hang out with her and watch the movie. Well, that's a simpy move because she's not respecting your time. And in reality, she's like, oh, he's going to probably go out and talk to other girls. She was probably jealous, and that's probably why she said it. But for him, he drops his plans, and boom, there it is. Another example would be like you have a job, right? If you work hard, but you drop what you're doing for work that day, you go leave the job to go give her a ride to the airport, or hey, I need a ride to work. Can you leave your job? No, go get an Uber. Like I can't leave. This is my source of income. I'm not going to do that for you. So there's certain things where it's where it's too much, or sometimes honestly overly flaunting the girl on social media too. When you're doing it too much, it's like you're showing every post you have is kissing the chick. Well, that's too much validation for her. B, like you're doing it because you want people to know that she's in a relationship with you. I mean, if you post a picture with a girl once, whatever, not a big deal
for sure.
But if you're doing it daily or
Every
day, you don't see your friends anymore. Like if you stop seeing your friends or your family because you just want to hang out with her and that's all that matters, and you're like locked in a room with her watching Netflix for 7 straight days, that's simpy.
Yeah.
You got to get outside your comfort zone, make sure that you're doing work, provide an income, with being with your friends, being with your loved ones, and not just focusing on her. And the simps really come is where their life becomes her. Impressing her, making sure she doesn't leave, making sure she's happy. And I see a lot of marriages that happen that way.
Yeah, for sure.
The husband puts his wife a little too far. And I'm not saying don't care and love your wife, but there's got to be a line where there are certain things that are valuable. She's valuable too, but I got to put my priorities here at this point in time. She's going to have to wait.
So it's pretty much like you've said before, Dad, making her not your first, not your second, barely even your third priority, because your first is you, your second is your job or something like that. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's like drawing the line, like you said, is between, doing a kind gesture, continue like once in a while, birthday, special occasion, and then just smothering her with what you think is love, you know? So
I'll tell you this too. If you are constantly just doing too much love and affection, she's going to get used to it. Okay? We all get used to things. If you, I don't know, if like for example, if you get sick, your body gets used to the virus and then it fights it off, right? A girl will get used to affection, so eventually it just stops to mean things. But if you come around like once in a while and you just give her like a kiss on the cheek or something, her heart's gonna be like, blow up, and she's gonna be so in love with you, like because you did that one thing. She finally earned your validation, and it means something to her. It's a lot more meaningful to her versus if you do it every fucking day. Because honestly, if you eat like lobster every day, you might love lobster, but not every day.
Yeah.
You might love steak, not every day. It gets old. So it's the same with a girl's heart.
For sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Paulina, you any questions to ask? Or you all for quiet tonight? Oh, come on.
It's your favorite person's here, Paulina. Come on.
She doesn't like me very much.
Actually, she does like it.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that she does. I had a question earlier, something about, man, I can't remember what it was. Whatever. It's whatever.
All right, well, okay, so I was in a situation where I was talking to this girl at one point, and we were talking for a while, but I wasn't talking to her very often, and she ended up talking to somebody else because of the fact that while I was working, we had to work really far, and I was mainly busy with work, so I didn't have time to be on my phone. I don't like being on my phone unless I'm playing music or I'm trying to change my music. Eventually, she started talking to somebody else, and I asked her like what was going on. She said that I wasn't texting her enough. So eventually, we quit talking. But what would you say to somebody who is in a situation where a girl says like they're not texting them enough?
Yeah.
Because I like, how would I say this? I couldn't give her the attention.
Had
that
you
I-
ever met her, or did y'all?
we had met once,
Oh, you
but
had met-
but the thing is, like, my job's important to me, so I'm not gonna give her the attention that she may say she want, but made it seem like that's kind of the attention that she wanted.
Yeah, one of the things that you've taught me is that a man's time is like very valuable, like to his kids, to his woman, and everything. Somebody go take that. But so the time is like very, very, very valuable. How would you suggest someone makes their time valuable as a man? How would you suggest it? Because obviously, the higher status you are, the smarter you are. If you're good at talking or whatever aspect you have that maybe someone might like, how would you suggest someone makes their time more valuable?
Yeah, so to go on your point, right, your question, right, a lot of girls don't understand. They're not used to it because guys are so quickly on the phone, like they're just big texters, right?
Yeah.
So when they see a guy who like works his fucking ass off, it's like a hit to their sit. They're like, wait, what? It's almost like they're confused, and a lot of girls can't handle it, right? In a sense, where it's just like they like the typical like 9 to 5 motherfucker who comes to work, goes to work, but then goes right to the girl and like texts them all day. How was your day? And doesn't really excite them. Some girls they feel comfortable with that, and they're just used to it. And it's like less anxiety for her because she's comfortable with it. For someone like you, right, who's working hard, you're not texting, you switch your music, whatever, right? There's a lot of thought investment that goes, why isn't he answering me? Mm-hmm. And it drives her nuts, right? So early, and especially like, I'm sure this girl was a little younger, like in her early 20s or late teens probably, right? Girls like that, that's what they really like. That shit drives them crazy when a guy's not texting them, right? So eventually she gets super insecure. Why is he not texting me back? Does he not think I'm attractive? Like, what the hell? Like, what did I do something wrong? So then she tries to rebound or whatever with someone who's going to make her feel a little more comfortable, right? And I don't think that's a you issue. I think the one thing that I would change would be early on when you get a girl's number or something, I would just be like, hey, listen, I'm not a good texter. I'm super busy at work. I would and you communicate early. I would way rather talk on the phone or meet you in person and just hang out with you in person. I'll text you to try to make plans. Here and there, I'll shoot you a text, but I'm really not a good texter just because I can't use my phone during work.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And you establish that to her, she might understand, and I think the older that as girls mature a little more just a little more, she'll get it and she'll stop expecting texts from you.
Yeah.
But younger girls, they don't get it. They really don't. It's just the way they grew up. We didn't have you didn't have a phone in your pocket.
No,
I
the
didn't
first one I
have-
had was about like this. It was a flip phone, and I thought that was cool. Man. A monster now. That was
Right.
back in '97 or '8, and that was some of the first phones that came out.
Right. It used to be you call someone and you tell them to be at this place at this certain time, and they meet you there.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you make a date. You say 8:00 at Club. What was it?
Club
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah, Club Europe. Meet me at Club Europe at 11:00. Right. You got to text them beforehand. Hey, are you coming? Just want to make sure you're still on.
Are you here?
You know? So it's a different age, and as the kids, even this next generation of kids who are like 5 years old, when they get to like your age or our age, it's going to be different. And I don't really know how it's going to be different,
Yeah.
but something's going to be different in the dating scene, and it's just learning how to adjust with it. And I don't think that women understand nowadays how it should be and what a hardworking man is like.
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough appreciation for it. They see it as almost like, he doesn't like me, this is insecure. I'm insecure about this.
Can you verify that, Paulie? Does it drive you crazy when the guy doesn't return your text right away?
Yeah.
And do you get bored when they answer, like as soon as you send a message, you see it opens right up, like he's almost sitting there waiting for
Yeah,
it?
I don't like that.
And what's more common? The one that
Opens it faster. The
that's
person
more
who-
common. The
that's
guy
way
opens it
more
right
common.
away and
Yeah.
sends you a message right back.
I've met about like 2 guys that don't open it immediately. Like throughout my whole Snapchat since I've been on
So
Snapchat.
you met 2 guys that actually have a life other than with their phone and
Yeah.
talking
They
to girls.
work. Yeah.
They work.
That's like you said, a big issue. Is like people don't. A lot of guys they tend to not
focus on the things they need to be focusing on. You know, like
Well, yeah, it seems like in society today we're almost programmed with the media and movies that if you just find the right girl for the guy, your life's going to be great, and it's a fallacy. But it's almost programmed into us from even when I was a kid. We had the Cinderella and these different types of stories that you live happily ever after, and it's just not. I'm not saying you can't be happy with someone, but it's not like they show on TV. If movies and TV were reality, we wouldn't go there to see it. We just would live it.
Yeah,
but I mean, you know, the characters and everybody in there, it's drama, it's excitement, it's all this, but then that's what we pay to see because it's not reality. We want to escape from reality. But the problem is many people take this into their lives and think, why isn't my life like that? You know, it's like they want their life to be like a soap opera, but that's not reality. As I said, it would be boring.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like when you talk to girls, there's like some nice music in the background. Especially or your first kiss, it's not like, you know, the violins.
yeah, so like to smooth it out,
No,
right?
it's usually usually like club music.
Yeah,
or something, you
that's
know, or
really- that's
whatever,
one of the
right?
things.
You're trying
It's
to
like-
talk and you're yelling at each other. You can't. What'd you say?
You gotta try to find. You gotta try to smooth it out on your own. You know,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that people think that everything is just so easy. It's like, you know, and that everything is just gonna be smoothed out as soon as you start talking. You're gonna get results with somebody. One of the main things I've became best friends with recently is rejection. You know, I've made rejection my best friend. I've almost made it a weapon of mine, like, you know, to utilize so that I can get better at speaking. And, you know, I take the mistakes that I make when I'm speaking to somebody, whether it's at the cash register or somebody at the club, take those mistakes and, you know, just try to use them for the next time that I go to talk to somebody in the same situation.
Yeah,
you know?
and no one's gonna bat 1,000. It's just impossible. I mean, I strike out. Everyone strikes out. It happens. Whoop-de-doo. But my viewpoint is, you didn't have the best opportunity to see my full personality. You know, if you got a 5-minute window, you're not gonna hit a home run every time.
Right.
She doesn't get to see your whole personality. All right, whatever. You move on. Whatever. It wasn't meant to be.
For sure.
And honestly, if she got to see more of you, she sees your work ethic, your ambition. She gets that opportunity to learn who the hell you are.
Yeah, for sure.
She'd be like, "Oh shit, this is a guy." Women fall in love slower. They like guys slower. Women are smarter than you think.
Yeah, a man sees a good-looking girl, he's like, I want to marry her.
Yeah, exactly.
And a woman sees a good-looking guy, thinks, I wonder what he's like.
Yeah. I wonder what I gotta shit test him. I
Yeah,
gotta get my
yeah.
test
Let's
right.
see if he's a real man.
Yeah, and you'll see that. And if you're getting a shit test, that's a good thing. A lot of guys are like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do. Like this is bad." No, that's a good thing if you're getting a shit test.
Well, my last question for you is, how do you decipher between a shit test and disrespect?
You'll know. I mean, usually it's the tonality. If she's like, "You're ugly. I don't like you," right? Then she might. Not that I really ever get that.
Yeah,
but there,
yeah.
you can tell through tonality and if she says something like that, I don't even acknowledge the comment. I'll just like, "All right, who are you?" You know? But a shit test usually is like, "Oh, your hat's on a little funky or something. I don't like the way you wear your hat." Or like, you know, you got some food on your face, right?
Yeah,
some
yeah.
teasing shit. She'll like, you know, and it's her way of flirting, but are you going to say, "Oh my God, really?"
Like it means something to you.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Or you're just all fidgety after it, rather than like, oh, you take your phone out, look at the selfie. Oh, I guess so. You know?
Yeah.
Or
Trying
you
to play it
say,
smooth.
you know, I was eating some good cake. I liked it.
Yeah.
Is there any on this side?
For
You know,
sure,
it's
yeah,
easier,
for
man,
sure,
right?
for sure.
Why don't you get it off for me?
Yeah, for
Or you
sure.
can put your lips here, right?
Yeah, right now. That's good, yeah. No, for sure.
Okay. You guys got anything else you want to?
Any more questions?
Paulina, you don't have anything to say tonight? Cat's got
It's
her
a good
tongue in
podcast
this.
tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
right.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
Sparty, if somebody wanted to get your help personally, how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so the best way to get in contact with me is probably just email me at spartacusfortune@gmail.com. You could go to my Instagram. I'm a little slower to get back on the Instagram because like I said, I'm not a huge social media guy, but sometimes I'm on it, and you can shoot me a direct message or comment on a photo or something, just at spartacusfortune. You'll be able to find me there. So those are the two best ways. You can also go to my YouTube at just Team Fortune. And so that's probably the best way to leave a comment on the channel and just leave a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. But email is definitely the best way to get in touch with me.
We'll put that in the link. And I want to thank you for joining us tonight, coming all the way in from Boston. It's been a pleasure and good to see you again. I wish you the best on your film career or movie career or whatever
Yeah.
wherever that leads
Yeah,
to.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with it. I'm
hope it
excited,
does.
but I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast. We
My
got some
pleasure.
good.
Thanks. I wanna
We got some
thank-
good topics today.
Awesome,
We did.
Thank all our other guests for being here, and thank you,
you.
for joining us here, my subscribers, and whoever is not a subscriber, like and subscribe now. Anyway, that's all we got, and we will see you. We're over there. Okay. We will see you next.